I love the way you give back to the community, you educate the community, you care for the community as if they were your own family.
You're doing great work in the channel, and we need more women in the channel.
Welcome to this episode of Sunny's Silver Linings. Sunny's guest today is Michelle Ragusa-McBain, a thought leader in the Global Tech Channel serving as Provider Elevate Leader for the Global Partner Foundation at Cisco. In today's episode, they chat about the biggest challenges for women in tech, life lessons for the next generation, supporting MSPs in their business growth, and so much more. And now, your host, the founder and CEO of IT by Design, Mr. Sunny Kaila. Over to you, Sunny.
Hi, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sunny. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we have been talking about this from a while, and finally we are here. We made it happen. And I see that you're joining from one of the conference. You are somewhere in Florida.
Yes, I am live from the CRN Exchange Conference, and out of my window is actually SeaWorld. I can see the roller coasters flying by as I talk to you.
Nice. Yeah, and you travel a lot to MSP conferences, especially the industry events. And I'm so glad that you were able to join while you are at the conference there, and probably will get to know a little bit more about what's going on there. So our viewers can also kind of get some information from the conference as well. But where I want to start today, Michelle, is your journey. And it's so amazing when I got to learn a little bit more at a deeper level when we met last time at one of the conference, and you shared how you got into the channel, and so how you kind of really developed as a channel leader. So let's start there. Can you share your journey and how you got into the channel?
Absolutely. And I'll rewind us even further back to how I got into technology, because I think that was my stepping stone to figure out, as every little boy and girl in the world wants to know, what do you want to be when you grow up, right? The immortal question. We all know Sean's going to be your predecessor when you and Cam retire. So we know that much. But for me, I didn't know what I wanted to be. My grandparents immigrated to America. I was the first in my family to go to college, the first in my family to get an MBA. When I graduated, I had a single mom, so I worked my way through college, and I didn't have a lot of life experience outside of the roles that I had to pay for my education. So it was very interesting. You know, I say mentorship really matters, who guides you in your journey. And I didn't know anybody who knew anybody that worked in technology. So my first job was on Wall Street. I grew up in New York City, so it sort of was a logical transition. But I didn't really love it. It wasn't my passion. And I went to an alumni event. And at this event, most of the people who were more senior in their careers didn't really talk to the interns or the new people in the room. And so I'd caution everybody listening to this podcast to reach across the aisle to somebody who's not like them and extend an olive branch, because I really think that makes a big difference. And so this one gentleman, Lou McElwain, asked me what I wanted to do, and I really didn't have an answer. And he said, "Could you sell me a router?" And I said, "I don't know what a router is, but if you teach me, I'll sell you 3 of them." And he said, "I like that response. I like you." So he told me about a company called Cisco, which was changing the way the world lived, worked, played, and learned. And he taught me about an opportunity that they had called the Global Academy, and it's changed its names a few times over the years. But it was a very competitive program. For every one spot, 800 people interviewed for that job. So it was very challenging to get in, but I made the cut somehow. And so in the last 17 years, I've been in the channel in many different ways. I've supported sales in commercial and enterprise. I supported distribution. I worked in telco service provider. And now, most recently, I've come back to Cisco after a boomerang, if you will. And I now am the provider elevate leader for managed service providers, helping to really accelerate and grow this new SMB MSP space with Cisco. So I'm very excited about that. And I think the most important part of that journey is about the relationships that I've made along the way.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome. And, definitely you're doing great work in the channel, and we need more women in the channel. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. And that's probably a nice segue to the next question, Michelle, that what is the biggest challenge and opportunity for women in technology today, and especially over MSP channel?
Yeah, no, this is such a great question and something I'm so passionate about. Women in diversity and technology has been the heart of my 17-year career. I sat in a lot of communities and boards, including CompTIA and CRN and the Alliance of Channel Women and Exposure, really trying to understand the gap and how we can solve for it. So here's some just very intriguing statistics that are worth noting. In the last 10 years, there's not only a stagnation of women entering careers in technology, but a decline. And to complicate that further, during COVID pandemic, McKinsey reported 1/4 of women left careers in technology. And so I think the biggest challenge is to understand why. And we can understand COVID was something none of us was prepared for. I know I was not prepared to be a full-time employee and a teacher to an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old who were at that time 4 and 6. And so, you have to think back to how do you enable growth? The good thing about technology is that it does give a lot of women flexibility in their career. I was able to be a nursing mom at home and have flexibility to see my children's plays and work and pick them up at different times. And so I think that that is one of the most important things it does give you as a benefit. And I don't think a lot of
Hmm.
women know, it's a lucrative career. It gives you a lot of opportunity, a lot of growth potential, a lot of opportunity to try different things. Every company is a technology company these days, especially post
Hmm.
pandemic. So, looking at that idea, you think, how can you get more women not only attracted to careers in technology, but to be retained and promoted? And so that brings me to the next challenge and opportunity. Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In did a study, and she said that in that study, 73% of men said they felt uncomfortable mentoring women after the Me Too movement. And that's a huge problem. And the biggest reason why is if men traditionally hold the positions of leadership, angel investment, C-level executives, and VPs, then they need to create a bench of people that they groom to replace them or be on deck for those opportunities. And without the mentoring of those people, there's going to become a gap. And so if you look across the table and everyone looks and thinks like you're doing it wrong. A dear friend of mine said that to me once, and she's a CRO of a company. And it's never left my mind that we have to have diversity
Hmm.
of thought. And that's not just gender, it's race, it's socioeconomic level, it's introverts and extroverts. It's everybody having a voice because that drives more revenue, more profitability, more sustainability in your company, regardless of the size. So I think that's the biggest opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's so awesome. And it's a nice segue to the next question, because mentoring is so important, right? To develop, cultivate our next generation of leaders. And that's where we can learn from leaders where they have done well. You have done really well in the channel. And whenever I see you, I know you serve from your heart when it comes to MSPs, especially IT companies, and this is the center of the universe of technology. So the question is, what are the top three life lessons, your greatest life lessons that you have learned that you want to share with our next generation?
I love this question so much, and I'll tell you why. I have a team that is made up of younger women of diverse backgrounds, and so I didn't hire them because they're women. They just happen to be the best. And so it is what it is. But I think about myself when I look at them, and I think about the things I wish I would have known and learned. And so as you think about those things, the things I wish I know now, then the first thing is that you need mentorship and champions in your role. I used to think if you work really hard, everyone would notice it and you would just get that promotion. And that's not how life works. It really is about how you have understood the needs for the role, what the opportunities are in that landscape, both internally and externally to your position, to your team, to your company. You have to grow your network so that you reflect um, the ideas, and you can even lean in for projects and internships, because you may take an opportunity that you think you love from the outside, but then you get there and it's not what you imagined it to be. So you really should make sure that you're learning from the people that you admire. What are the skills that they
Mhm.
have, and how can you learn from them? Now, my second portion of that is reverse mentoring, which is you have a gift. Everybody has a superpower. What is yours? And how can you contribute your superpowers to help others? It's not a what can you do for me? It's what can I do for you? And creating a symbiotic relationship. That's whether you're a vendor or a peer group or a distributor or a customer or a mentor. Everybody has a symbiotic relationship in the technology channel ecosystem. It's true. And so we have to think about how we can lean in towards those opportunities and leverage our own gifts. And then the third portion that I think is very important is making sure that you're always building your brand, your network. The network effect is very important and very powerful. What you think about yourself does not matter. It's what people say about you when you're not in the room that does. And the more and more people that you invest what I'll call like maybe ethical karma, being a go giver, helping to give back, helping to contribute, not because it serves you, not because they're a customer, not because it's going to benefit you in some self serving way, but because you're doing good because all boats rise evenly. And at a certain
Mm.
point, relationships are like a fuel tank, and you start on empty. And the more you give without expecting in return, the more that ends up fueling the tank. And when you need a favor or a help or something like that, you will find that the people that you've helped quickly rise up to help you in return. And that is the most astounding thing about this community, and this network. It's very rare where you see competitors sit in a room and call themselves a community. And yet we do see
Mm.
that in MSP space. It's all about community, it's all about the relationships, and it's all about giving back despite yourself.
I'm sure that you have had a mentor,
Mhm.
and who are some of your mentors and what they have taught you?
Oh, that's a great question too. I've had so many mentors. I like to say I'm greedy with mentors. Every time I meet somebody that inspires me, I want to be around them. We all know energy vampires, the people that take the energy out of the room. But I surround myself with people that put energy back in the room, that light up the
Mm.
room, that care about the room. You and Cam are great examples of that. I've learned so much from both of you in the short time that I've known both of you, but I love the way you give back to the community, you educate the community, you care for the community as if they were your own family. That is a really good life lesson that I watch because I'm very passionate about my family as well, and work life balance and work life integration, because I don't think there's a balance. So I loved being at the Build It event, watching your sons there, helping network, talk to everybody, really just being, part of the community. Going back further, early in my career, amazing women like Wendy Barr, who was the former channel chief of Cisco, Nancy Hammerbeck, who was the CompTIA of the Creating IT futures for CompTIA, Janet Shines, who's the CEO of the JS Group. Nancy Ridge, who is the CEO of Ridge Innovative. These are pioneers and women in this industry that have risen to the highest levels. Heather Tenuto, Heather Margolis. I could go on and on and on. I can think of so many amazing women and men who have graciously taken time out of their very busy schedule coach me, to mentor me, to listen to me, to guide me, to tell me the truth when there's something that I may not have gotten right. And I need that real, honest, constructive feedback to really
Mm,
lean in and tell me what I need to do to get to that next level or overcome my own personal challenges. And so I can go on and on with the amount of mentors, but especially Madeleine Albright once said, there's a special place in hell for women who don't support other women. But I think there's a special place in heaven for women who do. So it has especially meant something to me when I've been in the company of an amazing woman who has done that in my role and career and guided me.
mhm. So, Michelle, that's great advice. Having mentors is really important. Now, one of the challenge that I hear from our especially next generation is that, hey, Sunny, it's hard to find mentors, and especially from families or kids from families where parents are not very educated, or they are first generation immigrants, or they are just not well connected. They can't find mentors in their field. So, what is your suggestion for those individuals where they're having hard time finding mentors? How can they find mentors?
Yeah, that is an absolutely great question. And I've lived through this, right? I completely understand that feeling and sentiment. And I would say for me, the way that I found it was by joining activities and groups that helped connect me with the right types of people. I didn't know who those people were, but I was a global business major with a minor in peace studies. I joke that meant make a lot of money, give it all away to help people. But in theory, my I didn't know what type of business I wanted to do. You know, I had studied abroad in Italy and Portugal and Spain, so I had done some marketing and some business consulting and all of these different groups that we had met with. So here's the idea, I guess. You know, for the best part, the reason I was able to be at that event that they had with past alumni was because I was a joiner. I joined a lot of activities in the school. I joined the legislature and the student council, cheerleading, and all of these different activities. And they awarded the people that were the most engaged with the best academics. So your professors, all of the people in your school, they have connections, they have networks, other people of like-minded careers. And so it would almost be beneficial to you to ask, right? To look for internships, to find people within your community, outside of your base core network, right? Because nobody in my network worked in technology. But by learning and asking, well, what are these professions? What does the career technology look like? And then on the reverse hand, I challenge everybody listening that is in technology or in senior career or a business owner to give back to high schools, colleges, even middle schools, because see this change typically around fifth grade, women or girls stop pursuing careers in the STEM subjects, right? So it is a very critical time for them to start developing, well, what do I want to be when I grow up? And there is a place for you in technology. So seeing other people, other leaders, tell them about what they do and how fun and exciting and what do you love about your career? Why do you wake up every day and love what you do? So that reverse symbiotic relationship is also extremely valuable. But in order to do that, you have to extend. Maybe it's your church or synagogue or mosque or temple. Maybe you have a network of people there. You can ask around. What do you do for a living? How do you enjoy your career? Maybe it's a chamber of commerce event that you walk around or a college
Mhm,
student fair.
mhm,
You go to every table there, even the ones you don't think you're interested in, to learn more about what a profession might look like. And when you find somebody that you like, that you think sounds like an interesting career, maybe you offer to do the project for them. and see how it feels like and grow and prove yourself and prove your worth. And then that is a logical next step or extension to getting your foot in the door to work for them someday if you like them and you're a good fit for each other. That would be my
Yeah, no,
recommendation.
that's awesome advice. Like you, and it's also connected with at the end of the day, it's go givers activities that really kind of connect you with the right people. Like you, people also see the spirit that you have, and people want to be close to that spirit. Being involved at local chamber to any industry that you want to go into, like there are always events in that industry. So finding those events and being involved in those activities is the key. Now, in your roles, Michelle, at Cisco, how do you support MSPs with their business growth?
Well, that is very important to me for a lot of reasons. One, I'm now cumulatively a 14-year Ciscoite. So I've been at this company for a very long time. Began in
Hmm.
my 20s, just entered my 40s. So I know that Cisco traditionally has been enterprise focused. We are some of the best in the business when it comes to partner driven relationships. Chuck Robbins, our CEO, used to be a CAM. Our channel chief, Oliver Tusik, used to be a partner out of Germany. We have incredible representation in the partner space, but we had an opportunity to do more and to really go down a new route to market, which is the managed service providers, the small to medium business space. It is something that we traditionally haven't been, invested in as much as we are right now. And I am so excited and delighted to help to lead the Provider Elevate team and mission to help drive awareness and education. I can't tell you how many partners I meet where I say, "Hi, are you a Cisco partner today?" And they'll say, "Oh, I used to be," or "I know Cisco. Well, you're a great company. What are you doing here? What do you care about us little guys?" And I'm like, "Oh, that is
Hmm.
exactly who I care about. Like I am here to help invest and educate and grow and onboard and enable and accelerate you, specifically you and my team." And we are really excited to have the opportunity to meet these people. What I love most about MSPs is many of them remind me of my upbringing. They're entrepreneurs, they're family owned businesses, their husbands and wives and children own businesses, and they have their best friends. They started this company, they had a love of technology. And they just, needed to learn more about how they can help others be the virtual CIO for their businesses. And so, what
Hmm.
we need to do at Cisco and how I enable them, but prior to coming back to Cisco, I was a consultant. And I know some of the gaps because I didn't wear a vendor hat on. I was neutral and I was agnostic. And I got to learn what works for them, what doesn't, what keeps them up at night. And some of the things that matter most to MSPs are obviously just driving revenue, keeping their company afloat, working with somebody that invests in them and helps simplify their business and doing business with
Hmm.
them. So, what I love to say is Cisco is a top of the line security, networking, and collaboration product and solution specialist. And we do this all the way up to the largest enterprise accounts in the world, down to the smallest SMB. So, in terms of
Hmm.
scalability, nobody does it better than Cisco. In terms of simplicity, we're really working to simplify that. We created a provider program that is specifically for managed service providers. And everything in this program, we're working to add content, campaigns, marketing, MDF dollars, everything geared at these particular MSPs, from the offers that they have down to the way that they market to and through their customers, all the way to the way that we help support them in revenue to drive their success and educate them and train them. So there's so many pieces to what we do. It's a very wide brush, but the most important thing is that, I may not have all the answers, but I can get them to the right person at the right time. And that's what our team is here to do. We're here to navigate, that we're not just Cisco, but we made significant investments in acquisitions of companies like Meraki and Umbrella and Duo and great brands that MSPs already knew and loved. And now we're working
Hmm.
to help simplify the process. We've created things like the new Secure Center, really un-Cisco-like way of doing business, credit card only, pay as you go, cancel anytime. Like we're really trying to think outside the box of how we make MSP's life easier. And that's exciting.
Mhm. So, where can MSPs go to learn more about that program?
Well, the first place that I would recommend is the Cisco Partner Journey, and I can provide you a link so you can drop it in the notes of this. And that'll take you through our full stack. It'll take you through a lot of the places that we are showing up and consolidating the way that you go to market with Cisco. So if you're a new partner or an existing partner, we have a lot of exciting things coming. And I want you all to take a moment and learn about it because I think there's a real opportunity for us to partner and elevate together.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So thank you so much, Michelle, for coming to my show. And yeah, thank you for your partnership and with Build It, with ITBD, and what you're doing here at in the MSP channel is a lot of great work. And I'm going to say this again that I haven't seen too many people where they serve from their heart, like from big companies like Cisco. And when people see you, they see someone who's authentic, there to help, there to add value to the community, and that is something so unique about you. And please keep that spirit going, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Sunny. And in honor of Happy Diwali to you and to everyone listening, I want to say thank you. I also think you and Cam and your team are a light in the industry. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. And hopefully my message resonates with somebody listening. So thank you for the chance.
Thank you, Michelle.